Hello everyone, welcome to my regional winning Chimera Fiendsmith deck profile. I played 7 rounds this afternoon. It was 75 people, so very small regional, but it was still very nice for the deck. And I'm gonna show you guys the list, then I'm gonna go over a bit of my matchups. I'll show you a combo line, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about my thoughts on the list. I like to thank my girlfriend for supporting me and going with me to the regional. I like to thank my friends, Marcelo, Arthur, Lua, Hua, and everyone that was also there. They were very nice. I like to thank Nightfall and the Chimera Discord community. I'm gonna have their links in the description, including a spreadsheet that Nightfall offers, and I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. But let's just get to the deck list. So for the Chimera, I'm gonna go over very quickly and then later go over the card by cards and some of my thoughts, but just very quickly. The Chimera engine, 3 Gazelle, 3 Apprentice, 3 Quaddle, 2 Sword Knight, and 3 of the Chimera Fusion. As for the Fiendsmith part, it is completely maxed out basically on the good part of the engine, which is the engravers and effect. They do not conflict as much as some people think. If you draw both of them, they just replenish themselves with Necroclip, and they're always either follow-up or good fusion materials. For hand traps or non-engine, I played 2 Fua and 1 Ferulia. This would be 3 Fua, but I couldn't get one in time for the regional. 3 Roll, then 3 Eclipse, 3 Droplet, and 1 Callby. I'll go over why I chose to play these particular cards over anything else, but these felt very good in the deck. And now for the part that's kind of rough for the deck and why I wouldn't play this deck at a larger event and why I didn't want to play this deck for the regional, but I couldn't get another deck in time. These are all cards you don't want to draw, and this is quite a thick stack. So 1 In Paradise, the package of a Dusted Golden Necrom, Lacrima, Big Winged, Lurie, and the Ozette. Nothing here is spicy, nothing here is out of the ordinary for a Fiendsmith Chimera deck, but I just think this list was very nice for the main deck. For the extra deck, also nothing out of the ordinary per se, just standard 1 Requiem, 1 Closed Heaven, 1 Little Knight, Sequence, and a Bow. Caesar, just for some lines where you go into it. Necroquip, Arrow Eater, Chimera, 2 Berthamat, Magnum, Desiree, Guardian Chimera, and a Chaos Angel. For the side deck, also go over it later, but just for the deck list, 3 Encore, 3 Imperm, 3 Nib, 3 Lancia, 3 Hunter. My matchups, so I pull the notes up here, were Kristen in round 1, Paleo, Tournament Paleo in round 2, but so basically 2 rogue decks at the start or non-mana decks. Then I had 2 Raizio Fiendsmith in a row, a Malice, a Pure Raizio, and then for the finals it was a White Forest Fiendsmith deck. The guy had an incredible run. Going over some of the thoughts in my deck. I'm gonna leave the combo for later, but basically the engine felt really good. I guess I'll go over the main point of the deck, which is the non-engine I played for 3 Roll, 3 Perulia, 2 Eclipse, 3 Droplet, and 1 Callby. I think the best way I have to explain it is that I wanted a very dense set of cards for a non-engine. Dense in the sense that they never trade 1 for 1, except for, of course, for Callby or Crossout and stuff, but they're never gonna trade 1 for 1 on your opponent. Of course, the Charmies are just ridiculous cards. If they either play, you're getting advantage to play through their board. If they don't play, they trade it with at least 1 or 2 interruptions, normally 2 or more. So dense in that sense that they always do a lot. Draw, I don't think I really need to explain it. It was really good into Raizio, mainly because I don't care that much if they set up a detonator, but if they set up field plus a detonator, that can be a little bit tough to break. Not to mention Dweller, but that's the other things. So Droll was very good in that. Uh, as for the board breaker cards, Eclipse was kind of an MVP this whole tournament. This is just cross out on steroids for Chimera. Gazelle, like Sword Knight is your worst normal summon because it doesn't leave you a body. If you normal Gazelle, any extender, like either Apprentice or any of the Fiendsmith cards, or even Elzat, gets you to your Fiendsmith combo when you make Birth Meadow sequence, and that's very good. However, if you start with Sword Knight, you're not gonna have the body when they ash you. Like your normal Gazelle, you're expecting them to respond to you, so you're gonna get ash, you're gonna imperm, whatever. So preserving the body with Book of Eclipse is very, very nice, and sometimes just dodge interactions. I had some really good interactions where I had a Gazelle on field and a Necroclip and then activate Chimera Fusion, which is the line you do when you start with, for example, Gazelle plus Tract. You end up on that spot and you can get nibbed. And Eclipse helps you dodge a nib in that spot, which is very, very nice because it doesn't tribute anything. So it's another dead card in your opponent's hands, another way you play two interruptions. Droplet, pretty much any deck except for specific Malice, you can break the board as long as they don't have Dweller. For example, a Mermail board, if you have a good enough hand, even if they rip 2 cards, you can break that sometimes. A Ryzio end board with all Dweller, you can easily break. A Malice board that doesn't have a very, very high rolling hand, even if they end on Griffin, you can break it. However, the lines that let you play when they have the broken end boards, Droplet is very good in that. You have to be very cognizant of your bodies, because sometimes if you get rid of a Gazelle, when you fusion summon, you're going to go so neg that you can't actually play afterwards. So sometimes you're going to have to send a card from hand that you didn't want to send, like an Apprentice that you didn't get to use the effect yet. But that's just the way that you're going to have to play, and you're going to have to make some sacrifices. But the sacrifices don't matter as long as you get your play. And if they have Dweller, and if this was an Ash, or if this was a Veiler, or if this was an Imperm, and you can Imperm do a Driver, you can Ash whatever, if they get to Dweller, you still lose no matter what. So I didn't think it was valuable to play those cards. I even had builds that had 18 hand traps, and I was stopping them. However, even if I hand tapped them twice, they can still very easily put up a Dweller, and you lost. So even if this card maybe is not the best, it allows you to play, and once you're playing and they don't know your deck, they're making mistakes, and if you play well, you can capitalize on that. And I did that a lot this tournament, and I'm definitely sure that's why I won, because I was capitalizing on people's mistakes. And hand traps, they are used to playing. They are used to taking hand traps every single time, but they're not used to taking this, and I think that was very important. A little bit about the non-engine, of course. These cards are horrible, and you're playing 7 horrible cards, so you're gonna see them a lot in your opening hand. The Izamina deck for the Fiendsmith version with Wanted has a higher ceiling and can play through some more interactions sometimes, but it's very bad going second in my opinion, because you play even more of these. You need to get used to, if you're gonna play this deck, of opening hands that have these, because you're gonna see them more than you're gonna see Gazelle. You're gonna see them more than you're gonna see Apprentice. You're gonna see them basically the same amount as you see your Fiendsmith engine, because there's 7 fucking cards. I tried to cut down on these. If you cut these down, you lose to draw very easily. You need this as interruption. Lacrim is just insane follow-up. The Necrom engine just make getting to Fiendsmith free. Big Wing is part of your combo and end board. Lurie is there as a free body, and Elzat is actually part of end boards and is actually a very, very nice extender. So yeah, there's nothing really to cut. I don't want to talk about Fiendsmith engine because everyone knows how good it is. And as per the Chimera board, I would just say that in this meta, this hand is like, okay, you have 4 engine cards, sure, but these cards, once you start playing, having these interruptions in graveyard sometimes just wins you games, especially, for example, against a detonator. If they just have a detonator on board with 3 materials and they start interacting with you, you can Quaddle and they have to target again. You can Sword Knight to negate, and if they try to pop it, then Quaddle is going to destroy them in chain link 1, and they can protect. And they won't know that, they won't think about these interactions. So that can win you games. For the extra deck, the only thing that I'd like to mention is playing 2 Baphomet. These are the 3 cards that I think are worth talking about. Everything else is pretty much standard, but with 2 Baphomet and Sequence, every single card in your extra deck, with the exception of SP, you can recycle back to your extra deck and summon again. Sometimes you're gonna be in a grind game, and you're gonna get hand trap, and you pass on a Chaos Angel made with Light and Dark, and they take a few turns to out it. And when they out it, you can just Fiendsmith Engine, put it back, and then summon it again. Same thing with Guardian Chimera. You can pop a few cards, and you can go for a very explosive turn 1, and then your turn 3, you can recycle both of these back and make a Baphomet, and then you can have access to this, and you have access to this, and then you're always coming back with more. And with a Bow, of course, a Bow is an insane card for your end board. I'm going to show the combo later, but it can recycle SP Little Knights, so technically your entire extra deck is infinitely recyclable if you manage your resources well. Of course, you're going to get interrupted, so you're not going to get a perfect recycle every time. Magna is really good to dodge interactions on Sequence. A lot of people wait to Imperm or Ogre or do whatever stupid things they're going to do on Sequence, and having a card you can make off Sequence and a card in hand to dodge an interaction and then fuse off is very good. Desiree is, I didn't make it at all going first. For example, if I'm setting up a board, I never make Desiree. I know some other people do, and Desiree is, of course, very good interaction because it's at least 2 interactions every single turn because of the send back and the negate. It's just for the trap, and sometimes in simplified game states, you make it, and that's enough because you have a very, very good grind game. Like I said, in the side deck, I wanted things that allowed me to play. Of course, Malice is a very, very rough matchup, so I just wanted to maximize on the cards that may stop them. I had, on the Malice matchup, it was actually very, very funny because I got a game loss, and my opponent got a game loss for deck checking. We both did, so we just played one game, a best of 1. He initially had won the die roll, however, on the replay, I won the die roll, and we thought it was going to be a quick game 1, because we had 36 minutes, and turns out it almost went into time. It was a very, very big grind game. And the Chimera engine just counter-grinded my Malice. I wanted more hand traps in the side, because I know there were some very good Marvel players, and I didn't think having just 6 hand traps, even though I'm playing Droll and Fool, which are the best hand traps against them, was enough. I wanted to have a little bit more. So I mainly put this for them. But it also came up a ton against, like, against Malice. I like putting in the nibs, because even though it never stops them, they can reduce the end board. Imperm, I also cited this for going first sometimes in just some matchups. On the finals against White Forest, I had both of these cited in, and I drew both. It's very lucky I know, because it's more chance, but still came up. I'm gonna show a very standard combo, which is Gazelle plus Mirror Sword Knight. This combo is not necessarily something you're ever gonna do, because all of these combos that you see in the spreadsheet, they're just not realistic. You're gonna get interrupted. You're never gonna see the full line resolve. But anyways, this is just Mirror Sword Knight, Gazelle, and a discard. I'm gonna do the standard one, which is 2 discard. You're gonna see why, but anyways, you're just gonna normal Gazelle, you're gonna add your spell, you're gonna fuse Gazelle and Sword Knight. You're gonna get a copy of Baphomet, you're gonna go Chainlink 1 Gazelle, Chainlink 2 Baphomet. You're gonna dump the Necrom. You're gonna add a Apprentice. You're gonna go Chimera Fusion, add back. Oh, it's already back in hand. If they draw you here, like if they draw on the resolution of Chimera, you basically still go for the same things, but you just set up a lesser board. You still get basically the same amount of interruptions. Anyways, let's go Necrom here. For your Dusted Gold, we're just gonna go for the standard Fiendsmith line. I passed Lacrima somewhere, sorry. Lacrima, dump Engraver. You're gonna Requiem equip on Lacrima, you're gonna make your Necro equip. In here, if you have Quado, Engraver, you can get a draw, which is very, very good because of this resource game. Every single one of your cards is very dense, so when you draw them, they have a lot of value. You're gonna make a Caesar here. It's not early, you already had 5 summons. However, if they nib you before here, just literally don't care. This is mostly because of bestial installation. Anyways, so apprentice, pitch 1, effect. Grab your trash card, all that. Let's go for an engraver, shuffle back the dusted gold. Get these two for a sequence effect. Gonna get the engraver and the lacrima back. For an arrow eater. Where the hell's my arrow eater? Oh, I made arrow eater before instead of necroquip. That's my bad. I'm sure the comments are gonna point it out. But anyways, arrow eater effect, you're gonna dump the lacrima right back. You're gonna go Zet, special yourself. Link for an avow. You're gonna go avow effect. Discarding our other card. You're gonna reborn the Sword Knight. You're gonna Sword Knight effect. Grab your other trash card. Here, grab this, and grab your last fusion. And then you're gonna pass turn. You do not go for the hand rip in this version. You do not set up a ton of stuff. This is your end board. However, this is a ton of interactions. You're gonna start your turn basically making this, so you should get your negates online, your protection online. You're gonna get Caesar, and then you're gonna have a recyclable here because you can banish this and bring something back, banish this, bring this back. If they X you, it's just something you have to always keep in mind. If they X the Caesar, that's fine. You lose Caesar, don't really need it. If they X the Avow, you're just gonna fuse the Avow away for a Guardian Chimera. Sorry. And then let's say during their turn they try to clear your board. You're gonna Chimera, get this back. You're gonna Berthamat, get the Chimera back. Then you can Avow this card, get Big Winged back. Grab another fusion, grab another Gazelle. You just have infinite grind. So even though your setup is not that strong and you didn't have to play through, you don't get hit by a ton of stuff, or you're very resilient. You still of course have Lacrima in graveyard, you have the trap, you have everything. This is enough to win, and that's what I care about. That's why I didn't play the even higher silly version of Chimera. I don't think this is a unbeatable end board by no means. I did lose a few games even doing this board. But yeah, on the matchups, let me just go through some of my notes here. The Crystal matchup was pretty much a deck difference in my opinion. Crystal is very good, but my side is very prepared for Malice, and unfortunately they just get hit by that. And I know the matchup very well, so I saw the lines he was going for, I know the exact line he was going for, and I had nibbed side in for that, and I just nibbed him at the correct spot. For the tier Paleo is also a deck difference. The deck is simply older. The grind game you have can just out grind him. You're faster to get your resources, so it wasn't that much of a competition. For the Rise of Fiendsmith, I can't exactly remember the first one, what happened. But yeah, I'm sorry, it's just been a long day. I drove a lot. Yeah, well, I'm not sure of exactly what else I can add. The deck is just really nice. Like I said, I'm gonna leave the Twitter bio of Nightfall. He has a spreadsheet for the deck that he sells. He has a lot of deck lists for the Azamina version. He's gonna have some combos for this version as well, and he has already a ton of combos for the other versions. So I really recommend, if you're trying to get in the deck, I don't think you have to. You can just, of course, learn the combos yourself and come up with things. But for me, I bought it and it helped me get to know how the deck works, to then innovate and do my own builds separate from that. And up to this point, no one was doing a build like mine. They were all adding some other stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, I'd like to thank my friends, thank my girlfriend for being here all this time. And I'll see you guys on next time.